Good afternoon, class. Am I loud and clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your responses. For today, we are going to learn preposition of movement through the rules. But first, let's have our objectives for today's session. Let me read it for you. At the end of the session, students are expected to, number 1, identify the different preposition of movement. Again, we only have one objective for today, which is we have to identify the different preposition of movement. And now let's proceed to our next slide. Now we have here a text, and I want you to read it and look into it if you notice anything about it. Okay? Is my instructions clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Well, since Miss Kate responded, will you please read what is presented in the current slide?
Yes, ma'am. The robbery. The robber walked through the doors. He looked around the bank carefully before walking up to the teller's desk. The robber looked over his shoulder nervously. He put his hand into his pocket and pulled out his gun. "This is a robbery. Put the money in an envelope and give it to me," he said. The teller, terrified, pushed the money towards the robber. The robber took the money and walked out of the bank calmly. He walked across the street and got into the car where his friend was waiting.
Thank you, Miss Kate. And class, what did you notice about our today's text? What did you notice, or did you notice anything at all?
Can I answer?
Okay, let's have Mr. Carlitos.
There's a lot of prepositions now used in text. I observed that they are also bolded.
Thank you, and well, that is exactly the answer, because we have here highlighted words which are the preposition of movement. Thank you, and I see that you really observe what is the observable words in our text for today. Now, for the preposition, let's have the meaning of preposition. Preposition shows the relationship between things. It is usually in terms of pace, distance, time, and etc. Again, preposition, it shows relationship between things. It is usually in terms of space, distance, time, and the likes. While preposition of movement, it shows movement from one place to another place. These prepositions always describe movement, and we usually use them with verbs in motions. Again, we have here the preposition of movement rather. It is movement from one place to another place, and it is always describe movement, and usually we see them with verbs in motion. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And it is the most common preposition of movement is the preposition to, which describes the movement in the direction of something. The most common preposition is to, and it is in the direction of something. Let's have sentence structure. The sentence structure for preposition of movement is verb plus preposition plus object or place. Again, the sentence structure for preposition of movement is verb plus preposition plus object or place. And then let's proceed to the list of preposition of movement. We have a lot of preposition of movement rather. And let's have the first one. We have here across. So someone from the class read what is the meaning of across. Any volunteer?
Can
Okay,
I, ma'am?
go ahead, Miss Kate.
Across. It is the movement from one side to the other side of something.
Thank you. And we can see in the picture that the ball moves across from one side to another side. Again, the meaning of across is it is the movement from one side to the other side of something. Then let's have the next one, which is along. Any volunteer to read what is the meaning of along?
May I?
Go ahead, Mr. Carlitos.
Along. It is used to show movement of something in a line that follows the side of something long.
Thank you. And we can see in the picture that the ball moves along with the box because along is used to show movement of something in a line that follows the side of something long. Okay, then let's also have the next one, which is away from. Let me read it for you. It indicates the point where a movement begins. Again, away from means it indicates the point where a movement begins. We can see here in the picture that the ball is moving away from the box. We can see here in the arrow. Then let's also have the next one, around. Any volunteer to read what is the meaning of around?
May I, ma'am?
Go ahead, Mr. Carlitos.
Around. The preposition along is used to show movement of something in a line that follows the side of something long.
Thank you. And we can see here the ball is moving around the box because around is used to show movement of something in a line that follows the side of something long. Again, here in the picture, the ball is moving around the box. You can see it, right? Then, excuse me, let's also have the next one, which is down. Can I hear from Miss Kate what is the meaning of down? Miss Kate, are you here? Okay, I guess she is not here. Let me read it for you. Down, it is the movement from a higher point to a lower point of something. We can see here that the ball is moving downwards from the top of the stairs. Again, down, it is the movement from higher point to a lower point of something. Let's also have into. Any volunteer? What is the meaning of into? Any volunteer? What is the meaning of into?
What can I read?
Go ahead, Miss Kate.
Into. It refers to the movement to an enclosed space, movement resulting in physical contact.
Thank you. And we can see here in the picture that the ball is moving into the box because it refers to the movement to an enclosed space, and the box is an enclosed space. That is why the ball or the circle is moving into the enclosed space, which is the box. Let's also have off. When we say off, it refers to a movement away from and often down from something. Again, off means it refers to the movement away from and often down from something. We can see here in the picture that the ball is on top of the box, and it seems like the ball is moving off of the box. Then let's also have onto, which let me read the meaning of onto for you. It refers to the movement to the top surface of something. Again, onto means it refers to the movement to the top surface of something. We can see here in the picture that the ball moved onto the box because the ball moved to the top surface of the box. Is my delivery of lesson clear? Am I talking too fast? Okay, then let's have the next one. Out of. Any volunteer? What is the meaning of out of?
May I not?
Go ahead, Mr. Carlos.
Out of. It indicates the enclosed space where a movement begins.
Thank you. And here in the picture, we can see that the ball moved out of the box because out of means it indicates that the movement begins from an enclosed space. Then let's also have over. May I hear from Miss Kate what is the meaning of over?
Over. It refers to the movement above and across the top or top surface of something.
Thank you. And we can see here in the picture that the ball moved across the top of the box because over means it refers to the movement above and across the top or top surface of something. Again, here in the picture we can see that the ball moved over the box. Then let's also have past. Let me read the meaning of past for you. It is the movement from one side to the other side of something. We can see here in the picture that the ball moved past the box because the ball moved from one side to the other side of the box. Then let's also have to. To, it refers to the movement in the direction of something. We can see here in the picture that the ball is away from the box and the movement of the ball is in the direction of the box, so that we use the to here. The circle moved to the box. Let's also have through. Any volunteer to read what is the meaning of through?
May I not?
Go ahead, Mr. Carlitos.
So, it refers to the movement in one side and out of the other side of something.
Thank you. And we can see here in the picture that the circle moves through the cube or the surface because the circle moved into one side and out of something, of other side of something. We can see here that the circle moves through inside the cube or the surface or the cylinder rather. Sorry about that. And let's also have up. Let me read it for you. Up refers to the movement from a lower point of a higher point of something. We can see here in the picture that the ball is, we can say it's on the floor, right? And it is moving upwards or up. In here we can conclude that the ball moves up from the floor rather, because it up refers to the movement from a lower point to a higher point of something. After knowing what any clarification question about the list of preposition of movement before we proceed to our activity?
None so far,
None so far, ma'am.
Thank you. Then let's proceed to our activity. We are going to choose the correct answer. And for number 1, what is the preposition of movement refers to the movement begins within an enclosed space? Again, what is the preposition of movement refers to the movement begins within an enclosed space. Any volunteer who would like to answer for the first question? It refers to the movement begins with an enclosed space.
May I, ma'am?
Go ahead, Mr. Carlitos. What is your answer?
Out of, ma'am, letter C.
Out of. Mr. Carlitos answered out of. Let's see if his answer is correct. The correct answer is indeed letter C, out of, because out of refers to the movement begins within an enclosed space. Very good. And then let's have the second one. What is the preposition of movement? Refers to the movement begins from higher point to a lower point of something. Again, the question is, what preposition of movement refers to the movement begins from higher point to a lower point of something? Any volunteer? What is the answer for the second question? Okay, someone answered down. Let's see if your answer is correct. Yes, indeed, the answer for the second question is A, down, because down refers to the movement begin from a higher point to a lower point of something. Very good job answering, and I can see that you really understand our lesson for today. Let's also have number 3. What preposition of movement refers to the movement which is one side and outside of another side of something? Again, what is the preposition of movement refers to the movement that is one side and out of another side of something? Okay, someone answered letter D, through. Let's see if your answer is correct. Okay, your answer is correct because through refers to the movement of something from one side to and out of another side of something. Good job, and great answer. Great job answering the question number 3. Then let's also have number 4. What preposition of movement refers to the movement that indicates the point where a movement begins? Again, what preposition of movement refers to the movement that indicates the movement or the point where a movement begins? Someone answered.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Carlitos.
My answer is away from letter B.
And Mr. Carlitos answered letter B, away from. Am I correct? Then let's have Miss Kate also. Miss Kate also answered. Let's see. Letter B. I guess she is not sure about it, but let's see if your answer is correct. It is letter B, away from, because away from refers to the movement that indicates the point where a movement begins. Okay, good job everyone. I can see that you really understand and you really listened well to our lesson for today. Then let's have the last question. What preposition of movement refers to the movement passing something in a curve or circular route and not going through it? Again, what preposition of movement refers to the movement passing something in a curve or circular route and not going through it? Okay, someone answered here letter C. Let's see if your answer is correct. And the answer for number 5, or the question number 5, is indeed letter C, because around refers to the movement passing something in a curve or in a circular route but not going through it. I can see that you really listened well and you understand what is our lesson for today. Now let's check if we what's the word? If we achieve today's sorry about that. And let's see if we achieve today's objective. Our objective for today is to identify the different preposition of movement. Class, do you think we achieved this objective for today? Class, do you think that we achieved today's objective for today?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your
Yes,
responses.
ma'am.
I thank you. And yes, indeed, we achieved this objective because we identified the different preposition of movement, and we also have the list, right? And we also we identify in our activity the answers for the questions in our activity. And do you have any questions, clarifications before we end our lesson for today, our session?
None so far, ma'am.
Thank you for your responses, and thank you for your active participation. And you may now leave the class. Thank you, class.